Tonight's headlines. U.S. reveals new evidence Saddam is not disarming. In the skies over Iraq, new signs that war is very near. Israel strikes back after suicide bus bombing. Also tonight, CBS is with U.S. troops waiting in the desert for war, and the waiting is taking its toll. That government panel investigating 9/11. Victims' families say something's wrong. Eye on America investigates. And a simple answer to preventing colon cancer may be as close as your medicine chest.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. President Bush left little or no doubt today that with or without United Nations backing, Iraq will be disarmed and Saddam Hussein will be driven from power. The president had the military chief of staff from the last war with Iraq take the point to make the case for the next war. Speaking at a self-described Washington think tank, Secretary of State Colin Powell said Saddam has wasted his, quote, final chance to avoid war. CBS's Bill Plant begins tonight's coverage of the now looming closer, apparently much closer war.
In the face of continued international opposition to military action against Iraq, Secretary of State Powell revealed new intelligence, which he says shows Saddam Hussein plans to continue producing the same missiles now being destroyed by the UN, and that he's continuing to hide banned weapons. The speech was scheduled at the last minute and designed to blunt the argument for more time, which UN arms inspectors are expected to make Friday. Powell made the case that Saddam has no intention of disarming, has moved chemical and biological agents to the Syrian and Turkish borders, and is cooperating only to divide the UN and undermine support for the U.S. resolution which would authorize war.
Is it compliant? That's it. This is Iraq complying with 1441, and the only reasonable answer is no.
But in Paris, the foreign ministers of France, Germany, and Russia said it was too soon to tell and said they would not allow passage of any resolution which would authorize the use of force. But the White House refused to take no for an answer, arguing that in the past, France and Russia have often differed with the U.S. on Iraq, but have yet to use their veto.
I urge you not to leap to any conclusions about what the final outcome of the vote will be.
The outcome may depend in part on the report on the progress of disarmament, which Chief UN Weapons Inspector Hans Blix will make to the Security Council on Friday. In a UN press conference today, Blix previewed what he's likely to say, telling reporters the Iraqis have stepped up disarmament cooperation in the past month. Inspectors have completed 7 interviews with Iraqi scientists on the UN's terms. The UN would welcome months more for inspections, but if war comes, said Blix, his inspectors could get out of Iraq in 48 hours. The president is expected to speak to the nation after the UN votes next week. Aides suggest that he'll do what he did before U.S. troops went into Afghanistan, lay down a series of final, non-negotiable demands, and then say nothing more until he announces that military operations are underway. Dan?
White House correspondent Bill Plant, thanks. The U.S. now has a huge amount of military personnel and materiel in place to invade Iraq, and still more is on the way. One big concern for war planners is the same one that troubled them for weeks: Turkey's failure to go along. But CBS's David Martin reports the top men at the Pentagon say Turkey or no Turkey, when the order comes, they are good to go.
After a private meeting with the president, Defense Secretary Rumsfeld and General Franks, who would command the coming battle, told reporters the commander-in-chief has not yet given them the final go-to-war order.
The President of the United States has not made a decision to do this.
There are now 210,000 American troops in the countries and waters surrounding Iraq, nearly 130,000 in Kuwait, which would be the main jumping-off point for the drive to Baghdad. All of the warships, all of the Marines, and the lead Army division needed for the battle are in place. 80% of the combat aircraft are in place. Most of the missing warplanes are slated for Turkey, which remains the one missing piece in the battle plan. The 4th Infantry Division is supposed to go through Turkey into northern Iraq, but its equipment is still stuck on ships waiting for Turkish permission to unload. Franks has developed a backup plan for flying troops into the north.
Officials admit that is not nearly as good as coming through Turkey. But with the clock ticking down and the troops of the 4th Infantry Division still back at their home base in Texas, the war could well start without them.
one sign of just how near war might be. U.S. aircraft have quadrupled to about 800 the number of daily missions in and around the southern no-fly zone in order to establish a level of activity that will make it harder for the Iraqis to spot the marshaling of aircraft for the start of the war. And early next week, General Franks will leave the States and head once again to his forward command post in the Persian Gulf. Only this time, an aide says, he won't be coming back until the final showdown with Saddam is over, one way or the other. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
Iraq has made a public show of destroying a couple of dozen of its Al-Samud missiles, which arms inspectors say violate UN-imposed range limits. Last week, Saddam Hussein told this reporter those missiles do not exceed the limits. And today, he repeated that claim, this time on Iraqi television. CBS's Lara Logan is our correspondent in Baghdad.
This is the first time Saddam has commented on the destruction of the Al-Samud 2 missiles since the process began 5 days ago, and he showed he's as defiant as ever. The Iraqi president dismissed the missiles as a threat and said the enemy is only focusing on them because they can't find any weapons of mass destruction. He was addressing senior army commanders at a meeting that was shown on state television, his message clearly aimed at the Iraqi people. The government here hasn't permitted any pictures of the missiles being bulldozed. They say it would be a blow to the nation's sense of dignity. There's no sign yet that Saddam's comments mean Iraq is going to stop cooperating with the UN. Another 9 missiles were scrapped today, but there are still around 90 left to be destroyed, and that depends entirely on the Iraqi government's willingness to continue. Lara Logan, CBS News, Baghdad.
Another 2,000 U.S. Marines left for the Persian Gulf today from Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. They boarded hovercraft for transport to the amphibious assault ship Iwo Jima, waiting offshore. These Marines will join tens of thousands already in and around Kuwait, where CBS's John Roberts reports conditions are hard and getting harder as the long wait is increasingly wearing on soldiers and Marines down in the ranks.
The desert winds kick up the Gulf equivalent of a whiteout. A harsh life is made even harsher. The troops put their best face on it.
We adjust our how we would do things slightly, but for the most part we could fight through this. Matter of fact, probably works to our advantage.
The sand helps hide an army, but it reveals the numbing effects of months spent living among the dunes, lingering weeks in the field, every lonely hour away from home.
We want to get it over with real swift and go home. On an everyday basis, that's what everyone talks about, going home.
No one will say they want war, but waiting creates devils of its own, fatigue and boredom. Fighting to stay sharp is as much about filling empty hours as it is honing battlefield skills.
Spend a lot of time over here doing it, trying to have a lot of improvement, so I can only go up from this point with my ping pong game.
The military will tell you time means more training. Training means confidence, like a team that drills until each play becomes instinct.
Fight!
But diplomacy has already changed the game plan once. Many here expect more delays.
It could be months, it could be, who knows, weeks, days.
And every day that goes by is another day for young minds to consider what may be coming.
If you said there wasn't at least some level of anxiety here, you'd be kidding yourself, but I assure you 100% we are ready to execute orders as the President may direct.
The stress of waiting for the tension of battle, readying to make war, making peace with their God.
I baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Before their baptism of fire. John Roberts, CBS News, Kuwait.
This is Ash Wednesday for Christians, the start of Lent, leading to Easter. And Pope John Paul declared it a day of prayer for peace. The Pope urged religious and political leaders around the world to help prevent a U.S.-led war with Iraq. And the Pope sent an envoy to the White House to ask President Bush to do all he can to avoid war. The President says a war to oust Saddam and Hussein and bring democracy to Iraq might also help end the Israeli-Palestinian conflict over the long pull. There was a deadly new attack in that conflict today by a Palestinian suicide bomber. CBS's David Hawkins reports it killed at least 15 people in Israel's port city of Haifa and wounded 40 more.
The suicide bomber's nail-packed explosive belt weighed well over 100 pounds. It ripped the roof off a Haifa city bus packed with high school and college students scattering body parts and debris in every direction. The blast was so powerful it shattered third-story apartment windows and knocked over nearby palm trees. Today's terrorist attack also shattered a period of relative peace and quiet in Israel. The last suicide bomb attack here was on January 5th, exactly 2 months ago.
But the last 2 months haven't been very quiet for the Palestinians. Israeli forces have killed more than 100 people, many of them civilians, most of them here in the Gaza Strip, where Israel has stepped up operations while world attention has been focused on Iraq.
An average of 5 to 7 Palestinians a day are killed. An average of, let's say, 10 homes are demolished. So while the whole world is looking elsewhere, the extremism in Israel and this new and the government policy are destroying the possibilities of any peace in the future.
The Israeli government says its military campaign against Palestinian terrorists and Hamas leaders in Gaza isn't the cause of the attacks, but instead prevents them.
I want to make it clear that the sort of deceptive lull of the past 2 months in any attacks was mainly because of a sustained effort on our part to stop terrorist activity.
Today's bus bombing could further complicate the U.S. push for war with Iraq if an Israeli retaliation is seen as excessive.
This government is all about retaliation. And what will happen is probably they will kill more Palestinians. It will make it more difficult for Muslim countries, see Turkey for instance, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, to support the United States.
The Israeli retaliation has begun. We've just received reports from Gaza that about 40 Israeli tanks have moved deep into Gaza City, and helicopters are firing rockets into a refugee camp there. Dan?
David Hawkins, reporting live from Tel Aviv. Coming up next here on the CBS Evening News, an Eye on America investigation. The 9/11 Commission. Why critics say the panel may be too political to get at the whole truth.
Now you can help manage your diabetes anytime, anywhere. This is Glucerna, an ideal food for people with diabetes. Have a delicious snack bar or a meal bar, or enjoy a rich, creamy shake. Glucerna has the right balance of carbohydrates, fat, and protein. It's clinically proven to help manage glucose levels. Free your mind for other things. And for custom meal plans, visit Glucerna.com. It's time for a taste of freedom.
We were out here trying to be the first women to trek across Antarctica when I hurt my shoulder.
For explorer Anne Bancroft, finding pain relief became a priority.
I talked to my doctor at base camp, and he prescribed Celebrex.
Celebrex targets a major source of acute pain. Celebrex helps provide strong pain relief. Ask your doctor about Celebrex. Check with your doctor before resuming activities. People with aspirin-sensitive asthma or allergic reactions due to aspirin or other arthritis medicines, or certain drugs called sulfonamides, should not take Celebrex. In rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have kidney or liver problems.
Who'd have thought something this small would turn out to be one of my most important pieces of equipment?
Celebrate, celebrate. If you're experiencing acute pain, ask your doctor about Celebrex or call 1-888-CELEBREX.
Grandpa, how come you're always chugging Metamucil?
So it won't get thick and gritty.
Mommy doesn't chug.
I found an easier way to take fiber. Betafiber. It never gets thick like Metamucil can. It's taste-free, too.
Smart mommy.
Betafiber makes taking fiber easier.
Hey, Colin, what's with the toolbox?
We got work to do, Ragweed. We gotta start her nose running and her eyes itching. Hey, we're allergens. It's what we do.
See that bottle of Allegra?
Yeah?
It makes this job tough.
Oh, really?
Seasonal allergies live to make you miserable, but Allegra is specifically designed to block the histamine that triggers multi-symptom allergic responses, which may be why it's the #1 prescription antihistamine.
Some job you did. Does that look like suffering to you?
No, actually.
Allegra is for people 12 and over. Side effects are low and may include headache, cold, or back pain. Ask your doctor about Allegra.
Come on, let's go find someone we can really hammer.
Allegra, so much relief for so many symptoms.
The government commission set up to investigate the September 11th attacks is off to a controversial start. First, the original vice chairman stepped down, citing potential conflicts of interest. Then the chairman did the same. Now a CBS News investigation has found still more potential conflicts on the panel, as Bob Orr reports in tonight's Eye on America.
The best that we could do is just rattle some cages. And
Write down people's
These
names.
women,
That's very important.
all widows of September 11th, fought to create the 9/11 Commission.
18 months later.
And we still don't have an answer.
About what happened, what went wrong, and what must be done to ensure it never happens again.
I want to use that. I want you to hold that up during the testimony.
Mindy Kleinberg plans to make their case in front of the commission.
The cleaning personnel
Don't get checked.
don't get
And
checked.
neither do the people that bring on the meals.
Those questions about airline security are critical to the investigation. But now comes a serious allegation that the 9/11 Commission is stacked with members tied directly to the airline industry.
Here we've got probably the most important event in America in the last 50 years, the most horrible thing that's happened to Americans, and yet we pick a bunch of people who are connected to the very people at the center of the question of who's at fault. It's ridiculous.
Terry Bruner is a former federal prosecutor who now runs the Aviation Integrity Project in Chicago.
Fred Fielding, Spirit Airlines and United Airlines, Slate Gordon, Delta Airlines.
Bruner checked out the commissioners and discovered
Max Cleland, over $300,000 in campaign contributions from the airline industry. We have Thompson here representing American Airlines and Lockheed Martin.
that out of 10, at least 6 represent the very companies they are now investigating.
They're all up to here with either being connected to the airlines or the manufacturers of the airplane.
The issue of my firms representing American Airlines, I think, shouldn't be taken too far.
One of the commissioners, former Illinois Governor Jim Thompson, once represented United and still counsels American, the airlines involved in the 9/11 attack.
We went through the research. We found, I think, 6 commissioners with some kind of connection to the airline industry, and that looks like the commission as a whole is conflicted.
No, I don't think so. I don't think the commission as a whole is conflicted.
When you got 6 out of the 10 people, a majority of the group are connected in that way, how can they make an honest call?
Do you feel the commission can reach an honest finding free of conflicts?
I do, because I've got enormous faith in the credibility and the integrity and the honesty of the commissioners, and because we know the whole world will be watching.
So just write that down.
Especially the families of the victims, watching to make sure the commission gets honest answers.
I would hope that they would be able to put aside their financial interests to be able to do the job that needs to be done.
To ensure the terror of 9/11 is never repeated. In Washington, I'm Bob Orr for Eye on America.
The United States Supreme Court today upheld state and federal laws that make sex offenders register upon release from prison so the public can know where they live. The High Court ruled in favor of websites that disclose sex offenders' names, addresses, and pictures. The justices also upheld a challenge to California's 3 strikes law, so-called because it mandates long prison terms for a third conviction, sometimes even for a relatively minor offense.
After a meal like this, all you want to feel in your stomach is a good belly laugh. That's why for gassy foods, there's Beano. Taken right before you eat, Beano's natural enzyme helps prevent gas before it even starts. Enjoy food without gas.
Why do so many people trust GMAC Real Estate? It's because our agents offer premier service. A commitment to service that caters to your specific needs. Which means whether you're buying or selling a home, we'll listen to your needs and get you where you want to be. It's no wonder we have an overwhelming 94% customer satisfaction rating. GMAC Real Estate. Service you deserve. People you trust.
These women were Clorox Ready Mop users until they took home the new Grab-It Mop.
The Grab-It Mop is much better.
It's got that foaming action on there, so it can attack the scuff marks.
Makes it nice and loose, then you can wipe it away.
Makes my job easier.
After I used the Clorox mop, I had to go over it with the Grab-It.
In the end, more Clorox users chose Grab-It, 70% more.
I'll fight you for my Grab-It.
The better mop is.
The Grab-It. Grab-It. The Grab-It. The Grab-It mop.
Definitely.
Ensure
Friendship.
Ensure
Laughter.
Ensure
Tears.
Ensure
Victory.
Millions of healthy people are discovering Ensure One glass gives you complete, balanced nutrition when you can't have foods like these. Ensure.
Family. Wonder. Life.
Ensure. To your health. Now with lutein to help support the health of your eyes.
This is Model T20. He has cancer. This is Curious 901. She has cancer too. This is Malcolm W. His wife has cancer. This is the Cancer Survivors Network, a place where people can get together online to share information, get support, and get hope. This is the American Cancer Society. This is where to go for help.
Every day for thousands of years, Old Faithful has been, well, faithful.
What causes it to stay so regular?
Stay regular with Metamucil Daily Fiber Therapy. It works with you, naturally. Get regular, stay regular, the natural way.
Hollywood versus the war. Stars like Susan Sarandon are speaking out against a war with Iraq.
I need to know, what did Iraq do to us?
But do celebrity opinions matter? Is the public listening to the star's anti-war message? Eye on America, tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
In Congress, a new round of charges today over what is contributing to soaring energy costs, and it was definitely a mix of oil and politics. Senate Democrats said President Bush's post-9/11 decision to boost the government's strategic oil reserves dipped into the pool of oil that otherwise would be available for public sale, sending prices higher. But Energy Secretary Spencer Abraham cited national security needs and said the diverted supply was not enough to trigger higher prices anyway. This was billed as Books, Not Bombs Day, an anti-war walkout of students from hundreds of high schools and college campuses around the country. Crowd sizes varied from place to place. This turnout at Penn State was fairly typical and peaceful. In northeastern Colombia, at least 7 people died and 20 others were injured when a car bomb went off at a shopping center near the border with Venezuela. The Colombian military blames this and other bombings on leftist drug-tied rebels. The United States has recently stepped up involvement in bolstering Colombia's military and battling drug traffickers. In the continuing battle over health insurance coverage in this country, a new report finds the ranks of the uninsured have grown considerably. With health costs rising and the economy sluggish, 75 million Americans had no health insurance at some point in the past 2 years. Still ahead now on the CBS Evening News, an old familiar drug in your medicine chest is a newly approved weapon in cancer prevention.
Grandpa, how come you're always chugging Metamucil?
So it won't get thick and gritty.
Mommy doesn't chug.
I found an easier way to take fiber. Beta-fiber. It never gets thick like Metamucil can. It's taste-free, too.
Smart mommy.
Beta-fiber makes taking fiber easier.
It's fantastic news for denture wearers.
Super Polygrip's new ooze control tip spreads a thin, flat ribbon for less ooze.
Less ooze is excellent news.
Super Polygrip with the new ooze control tip. Less ooze. It's big news.
Number 6 is wide open.
I have a team to coach and games to win.
Ask your doctor about Singulair. Or for more information about Singulair, visit Singulair.com.
I've got to get a new car.
I've got to get to my Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Think big at your Lincoln Mercury dealer's Think Big sales event, where you can get big incentives on every Lincoln and Mercury, including LS, Navigator, the new Lincoln Aviator, and Lincoln Town Car, with $4,000 cash back. That's $3,500 plus $500 sales event bonus cash for total customer cash back of $4,000. Think big now through March 31st at your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Big stories, important times. Thanks for making us the most watched newscast for more than a decade. News Channel 5, your news and information leader.
Singer Darryl Worley talks about his new hit song, Have You Forgotten? Thursday at 12:30.
Can I get a 55? Give me 55. Come on, give me 55. I got it. 125. Give me 125. Come on, give me 125. I need a 125.
I've always talked fast and loved antiques. Then I got sick and I had to go on chemo. Doctor told me I might become anemic, maybe feel weak, but it slowed me right down. For the first time in 30 years, I was too tired to work. Time to go, Charlie. I had to get my strength back. I asked my doctor about Procrit.
Procrit is for chemotherapy-related anemia in patients with most kinds of cancer. If you're on chemo and too tired to do the things you used to do, talk to your doctor about Procrit. Procrit helps rebuild red blood cells, and more red blood cells can mean more strength.
It's good to see you, Charlie. Good to be back.
Procrit is proven and safe. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo.
Okay, folks. Let's go.
Call now and learn how Procrit can help you get back the strength you need. Your strength for living.
Yep, I got 2 speeds. Fast and...
Tonight on News Channel 5 at 6, the wheels are in motion to eliminate jobs within the state. We'll tell you about the state layoffs that are now underway tonight at 6.
We close tonight with important news about American research, medical science, and your health. An old familiar drug has been found anew to help cut the risk of mouth and throat cancers, and as CBS's Elizabeth Caledon reports, a new study just out today finds this same drug can also help prevent a much more common cancer.
Both of Jerry Kyle's parents had colon cancer, so he isn't taking any risks. He gets a regular colonoscopy, and he's taking something most people wouldn't associate with cancer prevention, an aspirin a day.
I personally believe that aspirin's a wonder drug. I really do.
Doctors studying aspirin and its preventive powers in people at highest risk of colon cancer might agree. 2 major studies in tomorrow's New England Journal of Medicine say it works.
We found that people that took a single aspirin a day were 35% less likely to develop polyps of the large intestine.
Polyps are growths that form in the intestines. They can be detected by colonoscopy screening and are easily removed.
And because we think that most cancers start as polyps, there's reasons to think that aspirin might help prevent colon cancer.
It's so easy to do. I mean, we take vitamins, a lot of things. Why not take an aspirin?
As it turns out, there are several reasons. The good news about aspirin and colon cancer comes with warnings. As preventive medicine, this household drug is not for everyone.
It can cause gastrointestinal ulcers, can cause effects on the kidneys, and so patients shouldn't run out to take an aspirin a day, but certainly discuss the risk-benefit profile of aspirin with their physician to see if it would be appropriate for them.
And most important, doctors say aspirin should never replace colorectal screening.
As if people are serious about preventing colon cancer, they'll have colonoscopy or some other screening test.
Colon cancer remains a leading killer, the second cause of cancer deaths nationwide. Aspirin may not be able to fight it alone, but it's nice to know something so simple can make a difference. Elizabeth Caledon, CBS News, New York.
And that's part of our world. There's a lot more CBS News in prime time tonight, beginning very soon with 60 Minutes, too.
The one thing that could have saved every life in the Rhode Island fire. Plus, what do American troops really think about war with Iraq?
Then, on 48 Hours Investigates, reality TV with the highest stakes, a hostage crisis, and there's a baby inside, on the brink of a rescue or disaster.
48 Hours Investigates right after 60 Minutes 2. 60 Minutes 2 starts at 9, 8 Central. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. I'll see you again soon on 62.
For news 24 hours a day, go to cbsnews.com. AOL keyword CBS News. Hollywood versus the war. Eye on America tomorrow. Experience CBS News.
From your news and information leader, this is News Channel 5 at 6 with Chris Clark and Vicki Yates.
Good evening. The state budget crisis is becoming a harsh reality for hundreds of Tennesseans.
The state starts mailing hundreds of letters this week, giving state employees 90 days notice. It's the first step in state layoffs. News Channel 5's Ben Hall asked state officials how many people will lose their jobs.
Governor Bredesen has made it clear the budget must be cut and positions in state government must be eliminated. This week, several hundred employees will start getting 90-day notices. Letters like this, warning them they may lose their jobs.
These are tough management decisions that are being made, and unfortunately, it may result in some employees losing their positions.
But unlike officials with the Department of Personnel say the letters are going out this week and next, and perhaps even more will follow. But they won't say exactly how many are being mailed.
until the budget